Hello, and today we're going to look at expanding brackets. We're going to look at how to expand three different types of brackets: one bracket, two brackets, and three brackets. You do need to know how to multiply and add your algebraic expressions. So if you can't do that, go away and revise it and then come back. Now, the first thing we're going to do is look at how to expand 4 by x plus 3. There are two methods I'm going to show you. One of them is a table, and one of them is the crab claw method. So I'm just going to break my page in half and do the table on one side and the crab claw on the other. Let's start with the table method. What we're going to do is draw out a table, a little small one. Along the top of the table, I'm going to write my bracket, x plus 3. Down the other side, I'm going to write 4, and I'm going to multiply them together. 4 times x gives 4x, and 4 times 3 gives 12. And I'm finished. There's my answer, 4x plus 12. Easy peasy. If you don't like that method, you can try the crab claw method. It's called the crab claw method because it involves drawing a crab claw. Crabs typically have a large pincer on top and a small pincer on the bottom of their claws. So I'm going to write my question out, 4 by x plus 3. I'm going to draw in a small crab claw. There are my pincers, 4 to 3 and 4 to x. Then I'm going to multiply along my pincers. So 4 times x gives me 4x, and 4 times 3 gives me 12. Dead easy. Same answer as the previous method, 4x plus 12 for both. It does not matter which method you use as long as you show you're working out in your exams. Let's try another one. I'm going to multiply 5 by 3 minus 2x. Now this question has a minus sign in it, but that shouldn't make much of a difference. I'm going to do the same methods as before and break my page in half. I'm going to use the table, and then separately I'm going to use the crab claw. So if I just draw my table in as before, I'm going to have 3 minus 2x along the top of the table, and I'm multiplying that by 5. So as before, 5 times 3 is 15, and 5 times minus 2 is minus 10x. And there's my answer, 15 minus 10x. Crab claw method, same deal as before. I'm doing 5 by 3 minus 2x. I'm going to draw a pincer between the 5 and the 3, and a larger pincer between the 5 and the minus 2x, and multiply along the pincers. So 5 times 3 is 15, and 5 times minus 2x is minus 10x. Multiplying two brackets beside each other works in a very similar way. You're supposed to multiply everything in the first bracket by everything in the second bracket. There are three methods to this. We're going to look at all three now. So if I'm multiplying at x plus 2 by x minus 3, I'm starting with the table method as I did before. I'm writing x plus 2 along the top and x minus 3 down the side. So one bracket along the top, one bracket down the side. Then I'm going to multiply everything in the table. X by x is x squared, x by 2 is 2x, x by negative 3 is minus 3x, and minus 2 by 3 is minus 6. So there's my brackets multiplied out. I have 4 parts. I'm going to collect and simplify them. I have an x squared term. I have a minus 3x that goes with 2x. So 2x, take away 3x, is minus x, and then a little minus 6 by the end. And there's my answer. Crab claw method works in a similar way that it did before. Again, I'm going to draw a crab claw around my brackets. There's going to be 4 parts to my pincers this time. It should look more like a crab claw this time, I hope. So there's my lower pincer and my upper pincer. Sorry, that should go to 2 and 3. So there's a kind of a crab claw drawn. It's quite crudely drawn, but I hope you get the idea. I'm going to multiply along the lines of my pincers. So I have x by minus 3 is minus 3x. I have 2 by minus 3, which gives me minus 6. I have 2 by x, which gives me 2x. And I have x by x, which gives me x squared. And then simply collect together your terms. So there's an x squared term. There's a minus 3 plus 2. That's a minus x. And a minus 6. Exactly the same answer that we had before. And my third method is called FOIL. Each of the letters stands for something. F is for first. O is for outer. I is for inner. And L is for last. And I'm going to multiply all the parts in my bracket in that order. So my question again was x plus 2 by x minus 3. I'm going to multiply the first parts in each bracket first. So that's x times x, x squared. The outer parts, x and minus 3, minus 3x. The inner parts, 2 and x, that's 2x. And then the last parts in each bracket, 2 and minus 3 gives minus 6. And then simply collect together the terms as we did before. So you should have x squared minus x minus 6. And you can see that all three methods give exactly the same answer. It does not matter which one you use in your exams. Just pick the one that suits you best and stick with it. Personally, I prefer the table. So for 3 brackets, it's very similar to multiplying out 2 brackets. What you need to do is take your first 2 brackets and expand them first, then use your answer and multiply through by the final bracket. So we're going to look at x minus 1 by x plus 2 by x plus 4. The first thing I'm going to do is multiply out x minus 1 by x plus 2. Now you can use any method you like, although I'm going to stick with the table because I find it very useful and easy to use. So I'm going to have x by x is x squared, minus x, 2x, and minus 2. And if I collect together my terms, I can see here that 2x, take away x, will join together. They are like terms. So my answer will be x squared plus x subtract 2. Now, my question has become 2 brackets beside each other again. I have x squared plus x minus 2 multiplied by x plus 4. So the only difference between this and my original question is that I have multiplied out the first 2 brackets. I'm just kind of showing you there where I've underlined them in red. They are the same thing. Now, to multiply out these brackets, I'm going to do one very large table. You can, of course, use a different method if you like, although I'm not quite sure how to draw a crab claw for this one. So I'm going to stick with the table method again because I find it the easiest. Along the top, I'm going to write x squared plus x minus 2, all of the contents of my first bracket. Down the side, I'm going to write x plus 4, and I'm multiplying all of the parts together. So x by x is x cubed. Sorry, x squared by x is x cubed. X by x is x squared. Then I should have a minus 2x. And along the bottom row, 4 by x squared is 4x squared. Then 4x, then subtract 8. And I'm going to collect together my like terms here. So I'm going to start with the largest power. Always start with the biggest powers. X cubed, then my x squared terms, and I can see they're diagonally beside each other in the table. 4x squared plus x squared makes 5x squared. Then I'm looking at my x terms. So I've got 4x take 2x gives me 2x. And then a negative 8 at the very end. And my answer is in order of terms. So x cubed, x squared, x, and then the number by the end.